Hey everybody, Pete Meyer, Motor Age Magazine here once again, another episode of Shop Talk Live. You know, March heralds in spring, but it also heralds in a trifecta of training opportunities. We've talked about a couple of them. Today, I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Jerry Truglia. He is the president of TST and ATTS. He, of course, is a nationally renowned trainer, writes for the magazine, has a laundry list resume that I'm sure we could probably tap into. Gee, thanks for taking some time out of your busy day to appear on Shop Talk.
Well, Pete, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And boy, March is a busy month. I have like zero time in March.
Yeah. And I appreciate you squeezing us in. I mean, of course, for those who are familiar with TST, they know that this is upcoming TST week. You got actually 4 stops coming up for training in your area.
Yeah.
And that's really, I guess, let's start with that, my friend. I mean, of course, if anybody who's followed either one of us for any time knows that we have been working together for quite some time now. And I'm going to admit, guys, I have maybe a little favoritism one way or another, what you want to call it that. But I have worked with this man for a very long time and consider him a good friend. But even with that said, the other major events that are going on this year, and as you've heard me say in other episodes, every single one of them is a great event, a great opportunity for you to take. You pick which one you want to get to. Just get to one of the above. But the unique thing with TST is that the other 2 events were both started on industry organizations that were more shop owner oriented in terms of the audience that they served, while TST serves technicians. So, tell whoever's watching today a little bit more about where TST was born from and what TST's mission overall is.
Sure, Pete. And let me just say it's a pleasure working with you as well. I really do enjoy the time we spend together when we're doing a webcast and doing some other work. Anyway, TST. Well, we're the offspring originally from STS, Service Technician Society, part of SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers. The goal was to help technicians stay up to date, especially with the changing technology on today's vehicles. So I decided to put TST together after SAE decided to shut down the STS group. And make a long story short, I always had a passion for helping technicians, not only when they were working for me in my shops, but I said, hey, this could be bigger. When I got out there teaching, I decided not everyone could really afford my hands-on classes. So maybe we could make affordable training at a reasonable price. And that's what we did with TST. We're not about, as you said, the shop owner per se. We're not about any associations. We're really just for the technician. And I think over the years, between our YouTube channel, our events that we've had all over, I think we've helped thousands of technicians out there learn something new, be exposed to some of the people, just like Bernie Thompson, who writes for the magazine as well. We had him teach his first class ever. Same with John Thompson, who did the Ace Misfire stuff. And we've had people like John Thornton, Scott Manor, who will be coming out, John Anello, every big name, Mark Warren, you name the person, we've had everyone out, including a big request we get now for Mac Vanderbrink. Unfortunately, some of these old tapes they're here, they're hidden, and my spare time, we're trying to get them up.
Yeah.
We do have just loads of them. Our new website, we're doing this TST TV. It's $9.99 a month for a member, and membership's only $75 for an individual. And the reason why we're doing it's like a Netflix thing. Right now, I believe I have about 35 videos up, and we have at least 100 to put up. It just takes about 6 hours to get this thing up on this website.
Yeah.
So it's only me doing it. And again, TST is a bunch of volunteers. Myself and Pierre, we didn't get back till about 1 in the morning last night from Massachusetts. And a little while, I'll be off to Connecticut and it'll be another late night. But at least we're helping technicians, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think for clarification for some of the folks that are watching, if you live in the greater New York City area, that includes Connecticut, Mass, Jersey, and of course New York State, there are chapters in each of these locations. You have 4 total, right? And
That's correct. We have 4
yeah.
chapters total. But the big thing, Pete, is our webcast that, even Motor Age is in partnership with us, that we reach out to people all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
Another guy we had, a friend of both of ours, and now working for the magazine, Brandon Steckler, the people who came on from Europe or England in particular, seen him, loved his class, and hey, he was over there teaching his pressure transducer, and now I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's going to get ready to go over to Ireland to teach.
Yep.
So we reach people all over. Speaking of Scott Brown the other day, he says some of the guys that watch us in Australia will be coming over this year for the TST Big Event.
Yeah.
And we like that we could help a lot of people.
Yeah. And not downplay that in the least, but so when before all that was available, you were already a grassroots organization. And what I wanted everybody here to understand was that collaborative effort of your membership, your volunteers, and yourself leading the way, you were able to bring in these nationally known trainers and bring them to the shops up by you, in that greater New York City area, so that they had the advantage of being able to learn from one of the best in the business, at a rate that they could more easily afford, right? So that was a big part of it. And then, of course, with the birth of the internet and the ability to stream that out live like we're doing now, absolutely reaching a larger audience than you've ever done before. Well, again, there's still something a little bit more, and that's really the subject of the day. Yes, you've got your what I call the circuit rides, right, that you host, right? And then
Week of hell, I call it.
yeah, and the webinars and the video libraries that they've collected. So what gave birth to the big event that's coming up here in March? And you guys, make a note on your calendar. It's March 21st, and it's going to be held in the Westchester Marriott in Tarrytown, New York. Of course, you can go on the TST website, and I'll make sure you have a link to it in the video description so that you can find out more. But how did the big event come about?
Okay, so Pete, like you said, we were really grassroots. We originally had seminars first here in New York, and we did them 12 months out of the year. And, you go 20 some odd years back, technicians were really into training. They came out, even in the summer, which is pretty hard, at least in my area, for people to come out. We don't always have good weather like where you could take your bike out and you can maybe take a nice walk and not freeze or whatever. But people were coming out, and their time in the summer is usually precious. They liked it, and we expanded into New Jersey. I mean, you've been to my location here, and many of you have seen where Pete and I do the webcast from. In those bays, we had put over 100 people. We were getting so many people coming in for our seminars that we decided to open up a Jersey chapter. So John Anello was instrumental in that, also writes for the magazine. And we started going to Jersey and built that chapter up to 80 plus people, where they would come out regularly. And Massachusetts requested it. I was working up there, and we just built all this. So then people said, this is great. I really love this. And I came up with an idea of putting everyone together from the 4 states. And I said, how could we do this? And I called it a big event because we were basically taking 4 states. And when we originally did this, we did this up in Fishkill, New York. You had been out there, because it wasn't a bad ride for Massachusetts. They came down an interstate that was pretty close. It wasn't a bad ride for people in New York, and it definitely wasn't a bad ride for Jersey. Everything is like centrally located, believe it or not. Everyone would have somewhere on a couple of hour drive, and they could come out and see our first big event we had in conjunction with Chevron Texaco Research Center. And that was 2001 is where we had about 380 people come out. And that was a pretty good showing. And people loved it. They said, this is a great idea. We need to do this all the time. Well, easier said than done, actually. But make a long story short, it's just grown and grown. We outgrew that hotel. And last year, just under 700 attendees that all got an Android tablet. We just grew this thing and could bring them some of the best instructors in the industry. I mean, you know, even my poor friend last year, John Thornton, with his bad shoulder, came out and did a great, great job. Along with Anello did a short, we always have a short program. And then prior to him, we had, was it Chris Lewis last year? And Chris is out with me this whole week. So, yeah, we've had some really good ones. I mean, the names from Don Schnell and, you know, every good instructor, George Menchu, and it just goes, the list goes on and on. Yourself. We just had amazing people come out to share their information with technicians to make their job easier. I mean, especially when you look at someone as brilliant as Bernie Thompson. You guys, if you don't read Motor Age magazine, for anyone else, go in there and read a Bernie Thompson article. I mean, the guy he's super brilliant. And for him to come out and share his time, you know, we're a non-for-profit group, so let me tell you, we don't really pay all that well. But these instructors come out because they do want to help the industry. And we really appreciate all their help that they've provided us over the years. This year's big event, Pete, is going to be another ass-kicking event. It's really good. We start out with my friend Scott Manna, who I know for many, many years. And Scott is just another one who writes for the magazine, believe it or not. And not that we're friends from the magazine, but it's just like good people are writers for Motor Age, we should say.
Right.
And he's coming out to really do a good class on advanced diagnostics and programming that people would need to understand before they get into the end part of the day. But the next guy up, and normally we have a keynote speaker, and then we have a mobile tech that usually does about an hour, like John did last year. But this year, I have a special friend who was an engineer for Ford Motor Company and then retired from Volkswagen Audi. And Bobby G is like a regular dude, Bobby Grzinski. He is the head of the SAE committee on OBD2, and he is dealing with a 5-digit code, a 6-digit code, excuse me, no more 5-digit codes, because we're running out of that. My Chevy Volt has 2 OBD2 connector plugs on it. You know why? Because there's so many electronics on today's cars. So Bobby, who I know for years, a phenomenal speaker, he's not going to be over anyone's head. You know, he looks like a hippy dippy, you know, got long hair, cool dude, great guy to speak to. Anytime I'm in Detroit, we always get together. And I'm really happy that he accepted to come out to speak to everyone. And his presentation that I just received, that will load on 700 plus tablets, is really good. And I think it'll really help technicians understand. Then we're going to be on to my crazy friend with tons of energy, John Anello.
Who could that be?
He's never out of energy. He calls me, it's like a girlfriend, for Christ's sake. He's always calling me with something that he's thought up or seen. And the ATTS system, you know, Pete, a lot of people think there's, you know, it's not for them. That's only for a body shop. No, it's going to be for everyone. In fact, Scott Brown was telling me, ASE right now, he's down in Virginia meeting with ASE because they're thinking about making a test on us. Mm-hmm. This is an important thing. I mentioned this in a class that the ATTS system could give your customer a drivability problem. And people go, what the hell are you talking about? I said, well, think about your forward collision system. thinking that it sees something in front of it from the radar, linar, or camera system, and it starts applying the brakes. You may be burning brakes up prematurely. You may have a lack of power. A couple of classes later, that this one guy heard me say that, and he comes in, he goes, "Holy crap, we couldn't figure out why this guy was burning brakes up." So he went to the dealer, but he did come back to tell us the problem was with his ATTS system. So this is why people need to come out to understand what they have to do. Maybe they want to get into that business. Maybe they don't want to get into that business, but we surely need to know what's going on with it. As a technician or a mechanic, we really just don't deal with one system. We deal with multiple systems. You know, you're the electrician, the plumber, you know, everyone wrapped into one. And the way vehicles are becoming so advanced, in the past 5 years, we had probably more new things or advancements come out than we had in the past 15 years. And it's not going to get easier. So people keep thinking electric cars are going away. Well, look how many Teslas are out there. And now go look at a Jeep or Dodge Ram truck, just to name two of them, that are using electrification on their vehicle. The 48-volt system that was upgraded from the 42-volt system from years ago is going to be on a lot of cars, so we can get that 54.5 mile a gallon corporate average fuel economy, or otherwise known as the CAFE. So there's going to be a lot of this out there. And Pete, you know, I really have a passion for trying to get people to stay up to date. And I think it's something that's needed. And the TST Big Event, very reasonably priced, thanks to all our great sponsors, including Motor Age. And we want to make this even bigger. And with our partnership now with Motor Age and P10, May 9th, 2020, outside Chicago, we'll be doing a mini event of it. And, you know, you can find out more about that, I believe, coming up soon on at least the Motor Age website, and then it will also be on the TST website. So it's about helping people, Pete. That's really what it's about.
And that's what I stress at all of the events. The guys that you see training there, ladies and gentlemen, they truly care about your success as a technician or a shop owner. G's one of those guys that really has that passion, as he said, to help men and women in this business succeed. And that's really what TST is all about. Now, there's some neat things that I want to make sure we point out about your big event. You alluded to it a couple of times, talked about the Android tablet. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're coming to the TST Big Event, you're not going to have to carry home in your luggage these huge manuals. All you need to have, you know, is a tablet that has all your handout materials on the tablet. So you get that. You get to keep that, of course, and all your materials are there for you to review at your leisure later on. If I'm not mistaken, you guys also have some video stuff that you embed on there, maybe some stuff from sponsors that are on there. But it's a great resource, and it was a fantastic idea. And I tell you, the first time that G and the TST volunteers were putting those things together, I got a chance to see behind the scenes on that. Boy, it's a lot of work. So make sure when you do come, you applaud them for their efforts and all the hard work they did. Something else that G alluded to that I want to make sure that you know about. One of the things that really makes a big event unique from other events, they do have a lot of sponsors that participate, but those sponsors are rather generous at times. And you tell them about what goes on between the sessions.
The generous sponsors, I mean, thank you, all my sponsors. I mean, the past couple of years, we've been over the $50,000 limit of giveaways. Everyone who comes gets a free ticket, okay?
Wow.
The person who won, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I remember he got one free ticket. It was the year before. And he won a full-blown Autologic with 3-year support, a $26,000 setup.
Wow.
And just for being there. But we've had people win smoke machines, air conditioning machines, scan tools, Neutronics, who's always, our buddy Peter Cole, is always there and very, very giving with a bunch of equipment. with identifiers and other really good stuff from all different companies.
Yeah.
So we got a chance to win besides learn. But I think the biggest thing, Pete, it's something that Mark Warren gave TST a compliment on. He said, G, WorldPac has this great training event, and their event is amazing and big and good. You've been there, and I've taught there. He said, but everyone's in different rooms. The big thing about the TST Big Event is everyone gets the same experience because we're all in one room. And with two big screens that are 12 by 12 foot, big screens with new high tech projectors with 4 monitors this year, 4 extra monitors, 60-inch monitors that'll be placed through the whole new setup. Marriott redid the whole room. Wow. So this is going to be even better than before. It's really a great experience that you can share with your friends.
It is.
I mean, we had a lot of the YouTubers out there. We had Scanadana, who last year was his first time out there. And Paul said to me, gee, this is really an unbelievable event. I can't believe that, there wouldn't even be more people here. Now, where we would put more people would be another problem.
Right.
But we want to, keep it at a certain level. And we're happy that we can help people from all over. 30 some odd states last year, about 5 or 6 different countries besides the US. And that says a lot when people come from all over, because they've heard of that. And even the people that support us online. I mean, we had some people on from Nigeria. We had people on from Israel recently. And just, everywhere. It amazes me. Chile. I see these things come up as, I'm looking at the website. I'm like, my God, this is amazing that you could reach someone so far away and really help someone. And I like hearing that even more than anything else, that someone goes, hey, that presentation that you put on, or that instructor you had for TST, that really helped me. And that's what it's all about, Pete. It's really about, technicians have a hard job, in my opinion. While I've always been an advocate to push technicians, is we don't get the respect. It's like a Rodney Dangerfield thing. We get no respect. And I think people need to know what we do and how smart you have to be to really work on today's vehicle. This is not your father's Oldsmobile, which I always say, or Plymouth or Saturn, or Pontiac. They're all out of business. Your ass will be out of business if you don't update, right?
Right.
You will evaporate. It's just amazing the amount of knowledge we need to know.
Yeah.
And just passing that out there with, our good sponsors from Mitchell and AllData and Identifix. Information is key, whether it is, a webcast, whether it is information that you can look up, like one of the service informations. You need all the help you can get nowadays. And maybe at some point we're looking into some live stuff, because our new website, we can do things off our phone. And we're exploring a couple of different ideas where maybe we can do some mini things right off the phone.
Yeah. Well, that's great, G. Well, you heard G tell you about the TST Big Event. Again, guys, it's coming up March 21st. It's going to be hosted at the Westchester Marriott in Tarrytown, New York. Again, look for the link in the video description, or go to tstseminars.org to register. And I'm going to tell you, don't wait to the last minute, because this place fills up quick. Make sure that you get a slot. And the sooner you get in, the sooner you get a chance to sit up front, or close to up front. So get online, get it done. G, thanks so much for taking the time to hang out with me today. And we'll see you at the big event.
Thank you, Pete.